Today, we're going to talk about our soul's deeper yearnings or our heart's deeper yearnings, those unfulfilled desires that we have within us. To start off, we're going to introduce a framework of how Mitra and I look at this and describe this. And you might relate to it, you might not, but this is how we're going to talk about it. And we invite you to find a way of understanding these concepts that make sense to you and resonate with you. We talk about the soul list. And what is the soul list? The soul list is a list of things that our soul, we believe that we were a soul before we came into this lifetime. And as a soul, when we were whole and complete, had come up with a list of things that we want to experience and express in the physical life. And that those things, there are certain things on that list that will nourish us and fulfill us and make us feel whole. And so we come down into the physical world, and part of life's journey is fulfilling this soul list that we have. But oftentimes what happens is life's pressures, life's conditionings come upon us, and we deviate from that. In this conversation, this is how Mitra and I are going to be connecting to the topic, and we're going to be referring to those yearnings, those heart desires that we have as things that are on this soul list. So Mitra, to start off, can you go into a little bit more detail about what this soul list is? How do you understand it?
To me, the soul list is a very simple list that my higher self had in heart when it sent me to this physical world. It's usually very simple. It's not a long list. It's not a bucket list. It's not a to-do list. It's not a productivity list. It's a list that connects me back to myself and to the source. Does that make sense to you?
It does. Can you give me some examples for you? Like
Sure.
what are some things in your life that were on your soul list and you feel connected to?
Teaching was something that I
Yeah, I could
tried
see
not to do,
that.
tried not to do, but it was on my soul list. The deeper one that you and I have talked about is service.
Mm,
And by service, I don't mean just going and doing some volunteer work. I mean living in the energy of service. One of my deepest desires in life, and again, you and I have talked about this, is to offer whatever I offer eventually for free all the time. I do a lot of free stuff, a lot of free community events, but that's the soul yearning that I have, deeper yearning, heart yearning, people call it, that I have, that I'm sure it belongs to that soul list that you and I speak about. I don't know if, as you're listening to us, if you're connecting to that, but don't let the name or the title distract you. Something that it's you're yearning and you have yearning for, and it's very deep. It's deeper than achievements. It's deeper than so-called success. It goes somewhere that really feeds the deeper aspect of you. So that's what we basically are talking about.
yeah, when I hear you sharing that, what I'm feeling is it's those things that I feel in my body, those things that when I think about or when I observe in another, or I see reflected and expressed in something on TV, like watching a beautiful musical performance, that I feel in my cells and my bones, that it exists in more than just in my head as an idea of something that I enjoy doing, but my whole body actually feels an excitement about it.
Yes. I know, like, you like music. Like, do you think that's one of the soul list items
We talked about this
for
before the
you?
episode. And yes, that's been that's been an interesting one for me. On this journey of life, I feel like there are some big items on my soul list that I'm in the process of discovering right now. I've led this life until the last, few years ago that was really oriented towards achievement and success. I do believe that those were part of my list. And at the same time, I do also sense that the way I went about doing that, or the mindset that I went about doing that, cut me off from other things that I really yearn for and I desire. From childhood, I remember there's this yearning to pursue the arts. There's this yearning to pursue music. I have visions sometimes, or when I see myself performing, and it's kind of a shock to me because it is such a strong, at least in my perception, deviation from the life that I've lived and the priorities that I've had in terms of my vocation. And so that's something that has been a little bit confusing for me. I'm in the process of getting clarity on that. And I notice that there are still some limiting beliefs that I'm working through to get through that. And I think that's really what all of this is a process of. It's a process of removing the blocks.
Yes.
Our soulless is not something we need to think about. It's a thing
Yes.
that we just
Naturally.
know. It naturally wants to express itself. And when it's not, it just means that we're probably holding on to certain limiting beliefs, which includes fears
Yes.
about those things. Yeah.
So great point. First of all, you declared it publicly now, so you need to do something about it. I was being horrible by doing that. And also, it's important the point that you brought up that we unfold a little bit that soul list includes all the other lists, but for lack of a better word, the ego list does not include soul list, but soul list includes what we call ego. That you wanted to be successful financially, or in the world of business, or any other place. So it is not excluding that. It has it inside, but it's not at the price of disconnection and soul list being compromised. And that's a very important point to remember, because especially if a younger audience or very ambitious audience is listening to this, and they're saying, oh, but I want to be successful. I don't want to go like soul stuff. And that's important to know that actually when you go from the door of the soul and pay attention to the soul list, those items become more possible, and you can arrive at them with more ease because you're going with, not against, the energy that you had come with to this world. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think you bring up an interesting point, the pursuit of success. And yes, I can see how my soul actually wanted to achieve that, but not for the reasons I originally thought. Not for
okay.
the reasons that I originally thought.
What do you mean?
Um, well, I originally thought it was going to fulfill me. I thought I would be happier by achieving success. And I achieved success and it didn't make me happy. So in that way, it taught me that happiness does not come from success, from achievement, I should say, achievement of physical things in the physical world, that it must come from somewhere else. And it actually, it allowed me to go deeper into my discovery, my self-discovery. I got out of survival, and my achievement, my success has served me in my process very much. Yes, it showed me that happiness does not come from those things, but it did afford me an opportunity to get out of survival, and out of survival now, the spiritual journey becomes more of a process of answering questions and fulfilling my curiosities. I'm not as scared anymore. Although I will say that there are many other things that scare me and still scare me and terrify me. Um, but that's the process, and that's the journey.
And that's
Yeah.
an important point, because as a friend is listening, they might think, oh, but so does that mean that I have to become a monk and do nothing? it's interesting that you mentioned that that was part of your soul list. So sometimes we have an item to experience in order to arrive either at the comfort of not being in survival, or at the idea of understanding the truth. So it's very important to know that this does not meaning pursuing your um, worldly ambitions doesn't mean that you need to be disconnected from your soul list. You can do them both as long as you have your attention on both of them, mainly the soul list. You can go and fulfill the business, the success, the arrival at all pleasures that the physical world and material world afford us. There is no difficulty there. It's not a bad thing in the world of soul. It doesn't have judgment. It's not like, oh, you're a bad person, you've gone after your pleasures of life or success of life. It actually includes it and it welcomes it, because then it becomes part of the arrival and fulfillment of the soul list.
So, Mitra, there are these things we're talking about, like different parts of our soul list. There's the things that we just wanted to experience. You referred to it as the ego list, that's on the soul list, which has lessons for us by achieving it. And then there's the things that just really, it's the things that bring us great joy and love, the mere doing of it and becoming of it. It nourishes us, it inspires us, and it activates creativity within us. So when talking about that part of us, because I believe we all have it. You work with so many people. How often are people, do you feel, actually connected to one or more of those things that really just enlivens them? We'll say we'll refer to these items as the soul yearnings, the soul yearnings.
Yeah. I think we all are connected to that, but sometimes we intentionally deny them. We think those are the unimportant parts of our life. Little things. It doesn't need to be that I'm the most famous artist in the world. It I paint, and I don't sell my paintings. I just create them because I love it. I never had a training. I don't know, the schools of creation of art, but I love creating art. And or people, like, I have a client who thinks that she's not gifted. She's told me so many times, but I'm not gifted. It just breaks my heart. There is no person out there that I know of that doesn't have a gift. You can say, I have not discovered it. I have not paid attention to it, which that's all it means. But I'm not gifted. I don't have a gift is to me, an untrue statement. So, for instance, she writes, you should see her handwriting. That's an art. If she sends me a card, she sent me a card for a thank you card, I've still kept it. I've still kept that card from, like, I think I've known her for 14 years. And it's just so beautiful. That's art. To me, that's art. Just like writing like few lines. So the question is not how many people are pursuing it. The question is how many people are denying it, because you don't need to even pursue it. You just need to be in allowance of it, and it will arrive at your doorstep. You will be sitting there and you will yearn to um, play music or listen to music or go into the nature. That's one of the soul list. That's one of my soul list items, to reconnect with the world of nature. We think we are part of nature. We are nature. We're not part of it. We're not in it. We are it. And we have disconnected ourselves with nature. So those inspirations, if you like, that we have, or things that people say, you know what I would love, and anything after that, if it's with that tone, is good. It's just right there. Many people don't allow it. either by discounting it or discounting themselves, saying that this is not of importance, or saying I don't have any gifts or talents. But we all have it. Yeah, that's a beauty of it. There's been complete fairness there.
Mm. So, for you, the listener, what is something that you have noticed that you yearn for, that you haven't given yourself full permission to pursue, no matter how small or how big that would be? Mitra, you mentioned after I expressed to you this yearning that I've had, you said you declared it, so now it's official. And it's really interesting you mentioned that because I listened to this episode with Mel Robbins. It's a beautiful episode, and this woman who has the first name Hoda, and they were talking about fulfilling these yearnings that we have. And on that episode, Hoda mentioned the power of declaring it, just saying it out loud to
Oh,
someone,
well,
and what that does. And she was describing her experience of when she declared it. She was actually 51 and declared that she yearns to be a mother still. And the moment she gave herself permission to just say that to someone, all of a sudden, certain opportunities started to present themselves to her. And at that point, it was just a matter of saying yes. I want to invite you, the listener, as well, that for that thing that you're yearning, to declare it to someone, anyone,
yes.
and to see just what happens after that. Mitra, I'm curious to hear your perspective on this, what I'm sharing right now.
Yes, definitely declaring, we're creating witnesses. But I just wanted to say something about the energy with which we declare, because I could declare it with a certain sense of like, um, oh, I will never have it. And then
Mm.
there's a declaring that says, like, this is coming. I know it's not here yet, but it's coming. So it's like, oh, I wish I could. That's a sense of regret and lamenting. But the energy that says, you know what I'm going to do? You know what's going to happen? Do you know what I would love? Do you see the
Do you know what
energy?
I love? I like that.
I love.
Is just admitting that this is what you want, that
Yes.
I yearn for this. I don't want to
Yes.
hide it anymore.
Yes.
I I want to be an artist.
Yes. Yes.
And I want to give myself permission to be an
That's an
artist. Just
amazing.
that declaration can be so
Yes.
powerful.
Like what I love, I can declare it here.
Yeah.
What I love is living in a community of
Mm,
artists and seekers,
mm,
where we're not harming the nature, and we're
mm,
really living in a communal setting. I still have my home. I love my privacy, but Henry and I live, in our own home. But it's also shared spaces and shared resources and shared care. And in that setting, I would love to offer what I offer for free, that
mm.
communities can come and visit, and we can all, create, somebody cook, somebody talk, somebody meditate, somebody clean, somebody like, that's what I would love to create pretty soon. And we sit together, we write poetry together, we paint, you sing, somebody plays the piano, somebody um, whatever takes care of um, the harvest and planting and picking whatever we need for our food. And that harmony with myself, with the community, and with the world, the natural world that I live in. That animals are not domesticated; they're not my dog. They are dogs and cats that we co-live together, coexist together. I don't own them. There's no leash on them. I haven't domesticated them. I haven't made them dependent on me. They do not just love me because I have to feed them. They love me because they know how much I love them. That's my ideal setting. That's what I would love to create before I leave my body, this lifetime.
I felt that. I felt both your yearning and the yearning in me for community that is unadulterated by, all of the societal expectations and fears and all of that stuff. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And so my question to you,
Of course.
you said you want to create that. And um what has stopped you from creating that until now?
It hasn't stopped me. You see, there is a time for everything. It's not like it's been delayed. Everything is happening exactly when it needs to happen. It's just the time hasn't arrived yet. That's how I see it. It's not like, oh, I should have done it 20 years ago. There is time for everything. Right now, the time is for creating my book or books. It's time for caring for my mother. It's time for really creating and pouring the foundation of that community. That's what I'm doing. I'm actually building it.
Yeah, yeah. So that you bring up a really good point here. You bring up a really good point because sometimes there is a journey to that place that we yearn for. And what I hear you saying as I hear you describing that is you're still fulfilled with what you are doing. You are getting a lot of fulfillment, and fulfillment is the key here. Is that's how we know if we're attuned or not. If we're feeling a deeper sense of fulfillment with where we're at and what we're doing, recognizing that some of the things that we yearn for is a process and a journey of getting there.
Exactly. Yes. And this impatience that we may experience from time to time, that's the sign of getting away from our soul list. When the soul list, it's for sure. It's going to take place. When, I don't know, when it's ready. But right now, I love living where I'm living. I love what I'm doing. I love the conditions on my life. And when I don't, I change them. It's fine, but that also is arriving. There is no impatience. And that's one of the signs of knowing that this is not an ego list. Ego is extremely impatient. Ego says now and right now and do not delay me a second. But soul has practiced. It's an old one. It has lived and witnessed so many lives that it says, oh, I know, it's coming. Don't worry.
Mm.
Just sit back. It's coming. Don't worry. This lifetime, next lifetime, some lifetime, it doesn't matter. It will happen. And I think that's one of the ways maybe we can identify when there's that sense of impatience. Passion is different than impatience, by the way. People say, oh, but because I'm passionate. I say, no, no, no. Passion actually has a lot of energy, but also has a lot of patience. But when you are in that like impatient, I cannot wait. I'm going to walk all over everybody to make it happen. It doesn't matter what the price is. Those are, and I've been there and I know that's the ego list item, and that's fine. We have them too.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point, which is being able to distinguish from the things that our soul truly desires from the things that are more ego driven. And one of the indicators of that is whether patience impatience is present or not. Patience or impatience. In impatience, usually it's likely that it's something that our ego desires, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just recognizing the difference.
Exactly. And identifying. And there is really nothing wrong with any list because whatever list is in your awareness is probably there because it want to takes you closer to your reason that you're here. As you said, you wanted to experience business success and financial success in order to be here. That's fine. Someone may want to experience destitution in order to arrive at that place in that yearning of the soul. As you see, like in many stories, if you go to the East, especially, most enlightened people were like completely destitute. I know the teachers that taught me from the isms world, they never had anything. They didn't own anything. I traveled with a teacher that I had to pay for all of their expenses. But they were quite, rich in their soul. So there are different ways to arrive at that. There is no one way, there is no one formula, and whatever you need to experience is what you need to experience, and that's okay. And that's where the fulfillment comes from. There is no mistake. Everything that needs to take place, it will take place, and it just gets me closer to my soul list.
So, Mitra, let's talk about a few of the common um, blockages that people experience, the fears and the limiting the beliefs. When I think about myself and I think about art and music, I'll share some of the ones that I experience. In a way, it's unfamiliar. It's a deviation from the identity that I spent so many years creating for myself. And I noticed that there's a fear of that unknown because the identity of me being an artist, when I tune into that, it's so different. It feels so different than the one that I created for myself and the one that I have presented to the world. And that is really scary for me.
Let me
So
ask you
there's,
though, do you feel like yourself when you are when in that moment? And I'm asking everybody, when you do that thing that feeds you, do you feel like, and people say, like, that's me. Do you feel like you're back to yourself when you, let's say, when you're playing music or singing?
yes. And then I get these moments, they come, right? We experience it. We all experience, right? Where we have these moments, it's like, I want more of this. Why am I avoiding this? And in that moment, when we're in it, and then life goes on, and it's like, well, that's not practical. It's not practical to live a lifestyle like that. You know, anyways, I'm not that good. I'm just being dreamy. And that's another thing, right? That I struggle with. I struggled in the beginning just to give myself permission to be a hobbyist musician, right? Because I thought I
Yes.
needed to be good at it. And yet I understand, I can see how still some part of me is like, well, in order to be, um, you know, pursue it more seriously, I need to be at a certain caliber, and I'm just not at that caliber. It doesn't make sense. I'm gonna stay just as like a side hobby. I'll pursue music. So I noticed that fear as well, or I should say that limitation, that I'm just not good enough
And who's
to.
talking?
I mean, yeah, the fearful self who,
The ego self,
the
actually.
ego self, yeah, which
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
the the fearful self, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Are there any other common
Yes,
limits that you see people have?
yes,
Excuses they give themselves for not
yes.
pursuing the things that they want,
Yes, when the list of others becomes our list of the society, list of the community, list of the family, like, or
like what?
culture.
Like
So all of the sudden you see one culture tends to produce a lot of fill in the blank, a lot of
doctors, lawyers,
doctors, attorneys,
accountants,
real estate people.
yeah,
And I've talked to some of the communities and they said, no, 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 but my children love doing it. I say, and I buy it. There are some, like my brother is an attorney and I witnessed how passionately he went to that field. I remember he was a very successful professor in his field. He was actually an engineer. And and one day he said, Mitra, I saw this thing and I listened to that and I talked to this person. I really want to do law. Like, I saw the passion. I'm not denying that it is possible that somebody passionately, based on their soul list, may pursue that. I'm saying it is unusual for me to witness about 80-90% of a community going one way and declaring that this is their individual passion. It is hard for me to believe that. So that's one of the reasons that I think we separate from our own soul list. We pursue the list of somebody else, or usually the ego list of somebody else. Somebody could be my parents. It could be, as I said, my community, my family, whatever. So that's one of them that we confuse our list item with that of a larger pressure that we're feeling and we arriving at, and that creates an expectation, and then we get a lot of outwardly successful people that are thirsty and hungry for a bit of satisfaction, just like the song says, I can't get no satisfaction. It's because you're on the wrong road, pursuing the wrong list. It's not yours. I'm walking in your shoes. How can I walk comfortably in your shoes? What are the chances that are, the form of the shoes, the size of the shoes, the desire of comfort be exactly the same? So that's one of the huge ones that I see, the expectations that are created through other, entities list.
Yeah, which brings to my awareness about, you know, what role I'm playing in actually supporting others as well in pursuing or preventing them from pursuing their soulless from my, you know, own ideas and opinions about what's right and wrong. My perception is to support another is to support myself, and to
Yes.
support myself is to support another.
Yes.
And so, um, thinking about, yeah, just being aware of that. How am I supporting or not supporting
Or
others
how
who
am
I
I
care about in my life?
abandoning? Start with yourself. That's a much easier one. How am I abandoning my own soulless item? What am I? Just one item. I just want to recognize one. What is one item on my desire, true, deeper yearning that connects me to me and allows me to feel alive that I am depriving myself of? And the moment I turn towards that, it becomes easier for me to offer the support or encouragement or lack of judgment to you. The thing
Mm,
is, I have to have it in order to share it with you. If I am in denial of my own
amen to that.
soulless,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So what
Absolutely.
I want your misery to join my misery because then I feel much better. It's just like, don't do
Absolutely.
that. Go and kill yourself and work and, be miserable as I am.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what we can do actually is becoming aware of how we respond to others who are pursuing their yearnings or not. That can be used as a mirror.
Yes.
So if we notice that we experience resistance to someone we care about pursuing some passion that they have out of fear that maybe they'll deviate and they'll go through hardship or whatnot, or some other reason, that can be act as a mirror. That can shine the light on maybe as a mirror of like where am I not pursuing my yearning, or even that the very thing that that person is yearning is also something I'm yearning.
Yes.
That specific thing.
Yes.
Right?
Get
Or
inspired.
it goes the other way too. Like I see myself really being supportive of people pursuing their passions and their yearnings. And I notice that I support them more than I support myself. And there are certain people who are doing things and I'm so supportive of them and it actually lights me up. That's a mirror. That thing that I notice that is lighting me up by me supporting them is something that I actually desire for myself, perhaps.
Exactly. So basically, what we're saying, dear friends who are listening to us, please ask that question. What is my list, soul list? What is it? And you may not know it, and the items may arrive much later. Just asking that question, because mind loves to go and fetch answers for you. And if you have this sort of a list, and usually the list is quite short actually. It's not a long, long list. Everything, there's a lot of sub items on the list, but the list usually is very short. And then asking yourself, how am I depriving myself from experiencing and tasting the deliciousness of feeling authentic and in my place and connected to myself? And the third question is, how can I just do something very small? Very small. It doesn't need to be that I change my life and move to another country. It could be just like from tomorrow, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend half an hour playing my guitar or listening to the music, anything that you can afford time wise or resource wise that you can do. I'm going to sit down. I was thinking of offering this again for free in the new year, that we just sit down and write together. I guide a meditation. I'm no teacher for writing. And we just say, let's just write together. 800 people can come. We just like write. That's it. That's a time we allocate to write or to move, to do anything that you love to do. Just walk in nature, talk to a tree. I don't know, whatever it is, but allow yourself to do that. And I think these 3 questions, what is my list? How am I depriving myself? And how can I take one step, one small step to go closer to that would be a great gift to yourself.
I love what you shared, Mitra, and I think there's so much power in just one, the power in the question. I think I always underestimate how powerful it is just to ask the question and to see what reveals itself to me, and then also to start small and to just start taking steps toward it. And I also recognize how sometimes my fears will end up overcoming. I start small and I start to take steps and it feels good. And then I reach a sticking point where the fear gets so big, or um, the limiting belief that I have is just really in my face, that I just end up deviating from what I started. So for those who are listening, who might be experiencing something similar, what advice do you have for them as when they're faced with those circumstances?
It's almost like having different kinds of children. There is a child or a person in your team. It could be your work place. It could be your family that always expresses its needs, has a very dominant place in communication and presentation. And then there is the quiet person that is sitting there, and they have something to offer. They're very deep and very substantial, but they do not express a lot. So the soul is like that, as opposed to ego. Ego is the entity that expresses too much. It's loud, it says, and it overtakes. So our job is to hear that. Yeah, you got to go and you got to do this, and whether there's a deadline or you haven't done this, all of that. Those are all needs of the material world. And then the idea is not to forget, take your time and say, how about you? What say you? And take your time to actually just remember. So that's the way to do it, that there is a soul and there is a soul list, but it's a quiet one. Soul never enters without knocking. You need to ask it for it to enter. Ego enters without knocking and without invitation and starts talking. And so your job becomes to say, thank you. I heard you. Yes. Okay. And now tell me what you say, my dear soul. What say you?
Mitra, I think this episode feels complete, and we covered so much, and I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for all of the wisdom and the light that you shared, and for holding me accountable on the yearning that I voiced. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing out the yearning that I had, and I gave it words. I had never talked about it like that because I talked to myself about it only. So thank you.
Until next time.
Until the next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. For a list of the links and other resources referenced in this episode, check out the podcast description.
If you're benefiting from our podcast, we'd love if you could help us reach more people by subscribing. Your support means the world to us. From our hearts to yours, we thank you.